DCP is a political party. So politically speaking, the creation and the launch of DCP is quite strategic for a number of reasons. One, now Gachagua has a corporate entity that he can use to drive his political agenda. If he has to go into any coalition or any alliance with any other political grouping, he goes there as a corporate entity, not as Gachagua the individual. So that gives him a lot of weight. It is exactly what Raila does whenever he goes into a partnership or a working relationship with the government of the day. When, for example, he went into Kano in 1997, he went there as corporate Raila, not as Raila individual. So that gave him a lot of weight until he became probably the second most powerful man in Kenyan politics. He became the Secretary General of Kano. Not because he was Raila, but because he went there with his own MPs and with his own supporters. It is the same thing it is the same situation now in Kenya Kwanza. In spite of there being smaller parties like Ford Kenya and ANC and the other numerous parties that make up Kenya Kwanza, Raila does not make an agreement with UDA or with the Ford Kenya or with the ANC. He goes there to make an agreement with Kenya Kwanza. So almost on an equal footing with Kenya Kwanza, although he goes in there as ODM. But he has to agree or to make an agreement with Kenya Kwanza, not with UDA or the other parties. So he goes there with a lot of strength. Now this is the situation that Rigiji is trying to create, so that now we have Rigiji, the corporate entity, not Rigiji, the individual. Actually, it gives him a lot of political muscle now. The DCP is again going to bring a lot of benefits to Gachagua. Come 2027, he will be able to monetize it. If, for example, he gets some 20 or 30 MPs from the mountain, even if it is less than 20, and he gets a host of MCAs, which is almost granted that he will have very many MCAs from there. Add one governor or two governors to that, and then he qualifies for funding from the political parties fund. That generates a lot of income for Gachagua, and of course that will now attract many people to DCP because of the money and because of it. Once it becomes a parliamentary party or a party with MCAs in various regions, even if it is only in one region, like Ford Kenya has MCAs only in Bungoma and a few in Trans Nzoia, and that qualifies it for funding from the exchequer. I think Gachagua's party is going to have more members in parliament and in county assemblies than even Ford Kenya, or than ANC used to have. It could even have more members than Wiper. So gradually, after 2027, DCP, if well managed and if well organized, is going to be a major force after the elections. Malala is not a political heavyweight from Western Kenya. I think the move was to bring Western Kenya or the Luya vote into DCP. But I think it was a big miss because Malala doesn't command a big or a significant following in Western Kenya. But for interim purposes, it will work. Later on, I think something is going to change, and they are likely to bring in a heavier person. I mean, somebody who is more, who has a bigger following politically than Malala. That is a political heavyweight. in spite of the show of unity that we have seen recently, there will still be some rivalries the undercurrents of rivalry among the big shots in the current opposition. We are having more and more parties, and we are even likely to have more parties launched before 2027. So that creates a bit of a problem for the opposition, because the more parties we have, the more difficult it is to craft some unity or to craft a coalition that puts all of them or binds all of them together to challenge Ruto. Probably Ruto and Raila on the other side, if their relationship will last to 2027. So that is, I think, one of the problems that DCP is going to cause in the opposition. And if it gets a bigger following, then probably it's going to challenge the existing parties like Wiper and DAP and Karua's NAC Kenya, and
hasn't come up with a party yet.
yeah, but most likely he's going to come up with a party to avoid the Wamunyoro experience in UDA. So each one of them is going to have a party, and then it becomes really, really difficult for them to come together in one coalition or in one alliance. Too many parties is not good for the opposition.